The age of discovery was fueled by trade. Brave men and great sailing ships accomplished so much with so little. I'm standing in front of 4 maps published in 1775 by the German cartographer Conrad Tobias Lauter. I'm fascinated by these maps for many reasons. First of all, I believe it is these maps that our founding fathers, George Washington, John Adams, and Thomas Jefferson, would have studied at great length. They would have been the center of so much debate and speculation as they considered the future of our fledgling nation. As you can see, in 1775, there is already much known about our world. The continents of the world are more or less already mapped, at least their parameters, the exception being North America. Lauter just left the western part of the North American continent blank. When George Washington and John Adams and Thomas Jefferson would have been in New York or Boston or Philadelphia, and they gazed west beyond the Ohio River, they might as well been looking at the moon. It was completely unknown territory. George Washington himself, a cartographer, believed that the future of the United States lie westward out into the unknown. You see, from the very beginning, Americans ventured west, and they conquered their fears. They lived outside of their comfort zones as they went into the unknown to build a better life for themselves and their families and all those that came after them. What you're looking at here is the genesis of the United States. This is the beginning of the American dream. It is the founding of American free enterprise in entrepreneurialism. You know, what would have happened if our founding fathers were scared? And they were scared to venture into the unknown. You see, our founding fathers have placed deeply within our souls this love of reaching out and bringing with us the love of the American dream and the love of American free enterprise. You know, a man back at this period of time was one of these great early Americans who traveled the world. His name was Elijah Lincoln, and I've acquired from his estate his writings, his instruments, and his books. Elijah, he, in the early 1800s, traveled the world on the great American clipper ship, the Pawtucket. This was his sextant. With this device, he could, with pinpoint accuracy, determine exactly where he was. He sailed from Salem, Massachusetts, with a cargo of American goods for ports in Asia, like Macau in southern China and Manila and Calcutta, Batavia, which is today Jakarta, with just the simplest of technology. This sextant in the stars, and this book, A New System of American Mercantile, lay next to his bed in his cabin. You know, what Elijah needed to know to trade with the world was absolutely phenomenal. This book is full of formulas and weights and measurements and different sorts of trading instruments that he would need to know from port to port. In his letters, he writes about his hardships. After nearly a year out at sea, he was on his way back home from South China when he ran into a typhoon. It nearly destroyed the ship. He had to go back to Canton for several months while the ship was reconstructed. He talked about how the morale of his men were so low, he never knew how he would make it home. He talked about rounding the southern coast of South Africa and running into these incredible seas that destroyed one of his sails. And it created a delay for him to get to St. Helena, where fresh supplies were. His men were literally starving for several weeks before they limped in to port. You know, today there are 27 million small businesses in America. They are the key to our economic success. They are the key to generating the jobs and the economic activity to make America strong again. Yet they are sitting on the sidelines. They are waiting to be inspired. However, we are devoid of leadership. What we must do is rediscover that spirit that is sequestered deeply in our souls, that was put there by our founding fathers, that Elijah Lincoln knew so well, of reaching out into the unknown and conquering our fears and living outside our comfort zone. Because that was the founding of America. And is rediscovering that same spirit that will make America strong and prosperous again. We just need to inspire those legions of American small businesses and entrepreneurs to get out in the world and bring with them the love of American values, the wisdom of America, and unleashing this good force upon the world will not only lift up our own citizens, but all good citizens of the world.